Okay, good morning, students. This is chapter 9, class 9. So, what is inside the atom? I have started. We have finished in at least one paper. So, today we'll start what is the Thomson's model of the atom. So, what is Thomson's model of the atom? We have many types of models are there in this, like Bohr's model, Rutherford model. So, in that, Thomson's model also one of that. So here see we'll see what is the Thomson's model. So this atomic model was proposed by J.J. Thomson. His full name is J.J. Thomson. In 1898, he was born in 1898. This model was commonly known as the plum pudding model. This model is also called as a they'll ask like this: what is plum pudding model? Is also who done this model? So this J.J. Thomson's model is also called as a plum pudding model. We have to write. Referring to the way the fruit pieces are distributed throughout a plum pudding, according to this model, see how see if the watermelon, if you observe, you can just see here watermelon. See how the watermelon is there. So and this watermelon is full like a proton, and inside all these seeds are black seeds are there. No, they all are like electrons. He thought like that. So an atom is considered to be a sphere. Sphere means round. Sphere means round in shape of uniform positive charge, and electrons are embedded in it. For uniform positive charge means the red color part is completely is called a positive charge. And electrons, these black one are there, no, black seeds are there, no, they are embedded means here and there it is distributed. So and electrons are embedded in it as shown in figure 2a. So like this, all this. So this in this way he is thinking. Who? J.J. Thomson. Next, the total mass of the atom is considered to be uniformly distributed throughout the atom. So how it is distributed throughout the atom. So the negative and positive charges are supposed to be balanced out, and the atom as a whole is electrically neutral. So J.J. Thomson, he said the negative and the positive charges are supposed to be balanced out, and the atom as a whole is electrically neutral. So how it is arranged, we'll see. A more familiar example that represents Thomson's atomic model is watermelon. So J.J. atomic Thomson's model means you should remember the watermelon. The positive charge is spread throughout the atom like the red part of the watermelon. As I told, the black seeds distributed throughout the red part represents electrons. Thomson model was modified by one of its students. What is the reason for its modification? The reason was that some of the experiments carried out by the Rutherford. Say J.J. Thomson model, some limitations are there, means some drawbacks are there, that his student whose name is Rutherford, he has studied further regarding this model, and what he said, Rutherford is another, he is a student of J.J. Thomson. So a student of J.J. Thomson gave results which were not in favor of Thomson's model. So he has done some more experiments on this model, but both are this, there are some clashes between J.J. Thomson's and Rutherford's, and both are not clearly saying how the structure of the atom is settled in an atom. Besides winning the Nobel Prize in Physics himself, 7 of Thomson's research students and even his own son, George, won Nobel Prizes in Physics. So one of the Thomson's students were Ernest Rutherford. He is a person who done another model. So what is the model? What J.J. Thomson told? He told that protons is like a red part in the watermelon, and electrons are embedded in the whole watermelon like electrons. But there are some drawbacks which is not satisfying the model. How the structure is arranged, that is proton, neutron and electrons in an atom. So then the further study was done by Rutherford. Rutherford's alpha particles scattering experiment. So what he took, Ernest Rutherford was a scientist born in New Zealand. He born in New Zealand in 1909. He did some experiment using gold foil and alpha particles. So he took one gold foil and alpha particles, he posed on that one. Alpha particles consist of two protons and two neutrons bond together. So he took only protons and two neutrons. Neutrons will be, there will be no charge will be there, and protons is a positive charge. Since they do not have any electrons, they are positively charged with 2 units of charge. Let us see the experiment setup and understand Rutherford's model. So what he did, he took neutrons and protons here. He exposed the light to a gold foil inside, and this is done with a chamber detector. This is a detector and gold foil is there inside. Gold foil, this one is a gold foil. He is exposing light to the gold foil. So what happened to the gold foil? There is a source of fast moving alpha particles which have considerable amount of energy. The stream of alpha particles is directed towards a very thin gold foil. So he exposed a small thin light to the gold foil. The gold foil was placed inside a detector in such a way that the detector would show a flash of light when an alpha particle struck it. The entire arrangement was kept in a vacuum chamber. So this was kept in a vacuum chamber. Think of Thomson model of the atom. When alpha particles hit the foil, Rutherford expected that they all would be deflected by the positive charge spread through evenly throughout the gold foil. What he thought, when the rays hit the gold foil, they will move in a straight. They will deflect backside. He thought. But what is happening here? You can just see. See, when the protons are hitting the gold foil, all the particles are moving in a straight way. Only some are the deviating, one or two are deviating. So what he thought, what he explained means, see here, on an average for every 20,000 alpha particles that were fired to the gold foil, Rutherford's model experiment, only one was reflected back. So he in his experiment, 20,000 alpha particles he exposed to gold foil. So only one alpha particle deflected back. Remaining all the alpha particles went in a straight way. So what he concluded? See, Rutherford concluded from the alpha particle scattering experiment. What he concluded, most of the space inside the atom is empty because most of the alpha particles pass through the gold foil, as shown in figure 4. So what he decided? So in an atom there will be more space will be where. That's why all the particles are moving in a straight way. They are not deflecting. A very small fraction of alpha particles that were deflected right back indicated that they had met a very large positive charge and mass which repelled the charge on the alpha particles. So all the positive charge must be concentrated in a very small space within the atom. So what he thought, there is a small space will be there inside. So all the particles will be concentrated there itself, he thought. So on the basis of his experiment, Rutherford put for the nuclear model of the atom, which had the following features. So his model is also having some limitations. What are those? We will see. All the positive charged particles in an atom formed a small dense center called the nucleus. So what he decided, there will be a small part will be there, that is called the nucleus. So the electrons not a part of the nucleus. So electrons won't be there in the nucleus. He decided in his experiment. He also proposed that the negatively charged electrons revolve around the nucleus in a well-defined orbits. So what he decided, electrons revolve around the protons. Around the nucleus, he decided. Rutherford's model is sometimes referred as a planetary model because Rutherford model is also called a planetary model, like how the planets revolve around the sun. In the same way he is thinking that because the motion of the electrons around the nucleus resembles the motion of the planets around the sun. How the planets revolve around the sun, then what he decided, the nucleus will be there inside at the center of the part, and the electrons will be revolving around the nucleus, he decided in his experiment. The size of the nucleus is very small as compared to the size of the atom. Then he decided that the nucleus will be very small, will be there, and the electrons will be revolving around the nucleus, he decided in his experiment. Compare Rutherford and Thomson's model of the atom of the following basis, where is a positive charge placed? How are the electrons placed? Are they stationary inside the atom or moving? So these are the questions arising. But what are the limitations of Rutherford? The J.J. Thomson, what he decided is a plum pudding model. He has decided that it will be there like a watermelon. Protons is completely like a red one is like proton, and electrons are here and there are placed. But this Rutherford decided that there will one nucleus will be there. There is a positively charged, and electrons will be revolving around the nucleus. But what are the limitations of Rutherford? We will see now. So according to Rutherford, do you see any problem with the Rutherford model? So yes, he'll see. See here, you can just see. An accelerated charged particles moving in a circular path would always radiate energy continuously. See, when the this is a nucleus, he decided that this is a nucleus, and electrons will be around the nucleus. But when they are revolving around the nucleus, electrons release some energy continuously. So this revolving electron would lose energy continuously and get directed towards a positively charged nucleus as shown in figure 5. See, he decided that a nuclear will be in between, and electrons will be revolving around the nucleus. So when they are revolving around the nucleus, they will release some energy. Then they release some energy, and what happens? Releasing energy, it will come. It will revolve around, and what happens? Finally, it will collapse. Yes, they will attract to the minus will attract to the plus. So in his according to his thinking, if the electrons revolve around the nucleus, then what happens? It will release energy, and finally it should collapse. Near the nucleus. So you can just see here, continuously and get directed towards a positive charge nucleus as shown in figure A, and eventually crash into the nucleus. So lastly should crash into the nucleus. If this is true, the atom would become highly unstable and the matter would not exist in the form that we see it now. So according to his theory, according to his model, if the electrons will revolve around the nucleus, and if they'll collapse, means there will be no atom will be there, but then atom is existing, right? But we know that the atoms are stable. So these are the limitations in a Rutherford's model. Then this also not perfectly designed the structure of the atom. So they have decided to think another one. So we need to ask, why is atom stable? So J.J. Thomson is also not able to explain why the atom is stable, and the Rutherford model also has some limitations that the atom is why it is stable. So here then next another scientist came, Niels Bohr. So in 1939, a Danish scientist Niels Bohr suggested an atom model to explain the structure of the atom and to overcome Rutherford's model. So whatever the Rutherford model limitations are there, he want to decide that one. So Bohr's model of the atom, this is very, very important, children. So in order to overcome the limitations of Rutherford's model in 1913, Niels Bohr put forward that electrons can be found only in certain energy levels or regions around the nucleus. Electrons must gain energy to move in a higher energy level, or they must lose energy to move to a lower level. So what he decided, he has decided that the electrons will revolve in a particular orbit. If they want to lose electrons, if they want to gain electrons, means they will move in a orbits only. So think of books arranged in a bookshelf. They can be placed on a higher shelf or a lower shelf, but never between shelves. So either they can be, see how the books will be arranged in a higher shelf or the lower shelf, but they are not in between. So in the same way, what is saying, the electrons revolve around the nucleus in certain discrete circular orbits of the atom. These orbits or shells are called energy levels. So you can just see these are the shells, like 1, 2, 3, 4. He is giving K, L, M, N. These are the shells, or we can call it as orbits. So while revolving in these discrete orbits, the electrons do not radiate energy, and this is the reason why electrons do not fall into the nucleus. So what he decided, see, when they are revolving in a particular orbit, they will not release energy, and they will revolve around the orbit, and they will not release energy. The Bose decided that one. So the electron orbits or shells are represented by the letters K, L, and M and N on the orbits. So in first one it will take, see, first orbit is there, it will take 2 electrons. Second orbit it will take, first one will take 1, another one it will take 2 and 3 and 4, like that, so on. Yes, decided how which cell will take how many electrons. So Niels Bohr could successfully explain the properties of a hydrogen atom, like the atomic spectra emitted by the hydrogen atom, employing this model, but this model could not predict the spectra of atoms or ions which more than one electron. So one more, if electrons is more than one, how there, then how the arrangement will be there is not able to explain. So you must have noticed that none of the atomic models that have been studied so far have mentioned about neutrons. This is because neutron was discovered later in 1932. So all they are talking about electrons and protons, so they are not talking about the neutrons. Until Rutherford and Bohr's time, the neutron had not been discovered. Neutron was discovered nearly 2 decades later. Except hydrogen atom, the atoms of all other atoms contain neutrons in their nuclei. Only hydrogen will not have nuclei, remaining all atoms will have nuclei, but it was discovered later. The model of the atom as we know it today is the contribution of many scientists. Let us observe below. So we start here. You can just see here. First atomic model was John Dalton, and then second atomic model was see here J.J. Thomson, and here proton discovery is E. Goldstein. But this you just very important, this one. And in which year, who discovered which type of model, this line you can just see here, yes, given. We studied that mass of neutrons and protons is almost equal and is about 1836 times heavier than the mass of the electron. So the mass of the entire atom is due to protons and neutrons. Later it was discovered that most of the mass was concentrated inside the nucleus, and therefore the neutrons are also present inside the nucleus. So what he decided, nucleus and protons will be there inside the nucleus, and electrons will be around the nucleus, and they are will revolving in a particular orbit, and they will not release any energy, he said, and electrons will not fall down. So who decided? This is decided by Bohr's model. Okay children, the remaining I will continue in the next video. Thank you.